Hey everybody, and welcome back to Team Mattymon. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I figured I'd jump right into it. Today I would like to share with you a couple of observations I've made listening to different conversations, being a part of different conversations, and just kind of listening to verbiage and the construction of phrases and the use of language, and coming up with a couple of things that I think are really, really important if you want to be someone who wants to be inclusive in a conversation. And I know the title will be, I don't know what the title of this video will be, and I hope it will summarize kind of what I want to talk to you about. But I want to share with you some of the observations I've made in someone who's been on the journey to try to create a more inclusive language in the way that I speak with people. So number one, I think there is this big thing I really enjoy doing, which is using inclusive language instead of exclusive language. So let me give you an example of something that is inclusive versus exclusive. So something that is inclusive would be, for example, hey, I really like this band. Have you heard of this band before? Versus an exclusive question, which is, oh, you know this band, right? So if you haven't picked it up already, the first one is an invitation, right? I really enjoy something and I want you to know what it is. Do you perhaps know what this is? There is no, exclusivity to it. There is no degradation or devaluation of anything. Like, I'm not evaluating you whether or not, you like it or not. I'm just simply saying, hey, I really like this thing. I would really like you to know that I like this thing, and I would like you to like this thing as well. Versus the second one, where it's very pointed, right? It's immediately putting a line in the sand saying, hey, look, I know this thing, I really like it, and it's kind of weird if you don't. It's really important, especially because people pick up on these nuances very easily, whether you think that you've put them in or not. And I think that using more inclusive language allows people to be part of the conversation. And I think it's one of the many steps that can get us towards more of a conversational and discussion type of society rather than an argumentative and debating society. The second thing that I would like to talk about is while you're getting to meet someone, especially when you're getting to meet someone, the differences between a statement question and an answer question. Or actually, let's flip it the other way around. Let's do answer question versus statement question. In my head, I think more along the lines of you're just meeting someone for the first time and you're asking them questions, getting to know who they are, but this can apply to friends as well. It's the difference between giving just enough information to answer a question versus giving an abundance of information and even some statements to answer a question. So an example of an answer question would be, oh yeah, I really do like sports. What kind of sports do you play? Versus a statement question, oh, I actually played ultimate frisbee last year and I really enjoyed it. I got into paddleboarding, and I really also, I like soccer once in a while whenever I have time. It's not on the top of my list, but it's really fun being able to play a group sport. What kind of sports do you play? So obviously with the second one, you get more information and you can dive into more of that. You can pick more things ultimate frisbee, what do you like about that? It just gives the other person more things to ask about. And it kind of stimulates the conversation even further. I think that you don't have to share everything, but any type of sharing is better than just a flat answer. Pretty much the first one amounts to a yes, no, a one-word answer. You don't really want to talk to that person anymore. And I think giving more information just allows the conversation to organically grow into, asking more questions. And, that's really what it's all about, right? We just like meeting people, and it's nice to know that, if we ask a question, the other person will respond with enough information for us to continue on the conversation. I find so many times that I'll meet new people and I spend so much energy trying to squeeze things out of them. We're both here trying to meet new people, and it feels really one-sided when I'm trying to get information out of you just to continue the conversation. I mean, life is too short. Third thing is this new age of emojis, actually, and the use of emojis. I know that a lot of people that I work with tend to not use them a lot. I use them a lot. I tend not use the actual emojis themselves. I use like the, like the semicolon, end bracket kind of thing. But I think they're really useful. I think they're an evolution of our texting language, especially in the West Coast here and in the Western civilizations. But I think they're very, very useful. So I think there's a lot of problems when it comes to texting about meaning and about nuances and innuendos. I personally believe that there is no tone to text. I do not read into texts, but I have to adamantly remind myself that every single time when I read a text, not to read tone into it. And it's really, really difficult to do that because when you're getting a text, you don't know if the person is texting you because they're being passive aggressive, or they're like just rushing out the door and they're just trying to type something really quickly, or their phone dies so they don't text you right away. So you don't really understand sometimes where the other person's coming from, and I think that's where emojis come in. So for example, let's say you're typing up something that could be interpreted as sarcastic, but you're not meaning it to be sarcastic, or you are meaning it to be sarcastic. Well, why not just throw an emoji in there and automatically it kind of just encapsulates the tone of what you're trying to say. And yes, I know that I just said that I'm not really into tone, and I don't read tone in text, but it doesn't stop me from thinking about what my tone is to other people and how they would interpret my texts sometimes. I think that emojis are a really important aspect of our, at least current texting world, and it really helps to stem off a lot of misinterpretations and misunderstandings. I don't think that you need to use them. I'm just saying that it's a tool out there, and it's an evolutionary tool in our language, and I think it really helps in the long run, especially if you're with people who are a little bit more sensitive around that stuff. Obviously, if they're sensitive, you should just talk to them, in person, but sometimes that's not possible. So I think that the use of emojis, it's an interesting concept because I didn't really like them when they first came out, but now I see the value of them, and I see how they can help solidify exactly what you mean and how you want to say certain things. So those are like 3 things that I've noticed in the language and the evolution of our language, and I hope that that really helps you understand not only how you might be wording something, how you might be phrasing something, how you may be inclusive or exclusive, but also think about other people too, right? I think a lot of times we forget that when we're conversing, we're spending so much time worrying about ourselves when we realize, we forget that there's another person on the other side. There's enough, negativity in the world. Let's at least be stewards of the words and the phrases that we use so that we become an inclusive and a positive energy in our kind of like tech world nowadays and in the way that we talk to people. I hope that helps a little bit. I don't know, this is more of like a stream of consciousness video. I didn't really write anything down, but I hope it helps. I think I got all my points through. Have a good day, you guys. I'll see you guys Sunday and next week. Bye-bye.